All right, here's that bone sauce dance. Hey y'all, Billy from Perma Pastures farm. Here it is, it's about, I don't know, about 8 o'clock at night, maybe a little bit later. And I'm out here burning. Yeah, I said that. And I know to some people in this world, especially in some of the permaculture world, it's a cardinal sin. Well, is it? You know, everybody says, hey, just go out and get a chipper or go put it in your food forest or do this, do that. Look, there are times that fire, many times that fire can be your ally. It could be like George Washington said, a dangerous servant or a fearful master, depending on how you use it. Now, depending on the time of year around here, you know, you can burn entire mountainsides, which, you know, happens several times apparently a year around here. Well, what you don't see is that this, like right beside me here is this giant pile of nasty thicket. I mean, this stuff is so doggone bad. It's so thick and thorny. I think it's that multiflora rose and it's a little bit of something else in here, but it's so doggone thick that I can't just use these MaxiFlex gloves, my favorite gloves. I got to use these double insulated suckers right here. They're almost gauntlets just to deal with it. Now, let me ask you, okay, so if you're in this position and you have to do something with this stuff, I had to clear it out of this pasture when it was all weeds out here. And so you got to ask yourself, what am I going to do with it? If you really want to try to put that in the chipper? No, especially in this terrain, absolutely not. It is a nightmare. In fact, it's so doggone bad that we had to take it, set it. What I'm standing on is a rock right here, y'all. This whole area is an outcropping of rock. In fact, this whole rock, there's another story in here and I'll cover that in a later video. This is all rock right here. Even this was rock until we decided to start growing soil on it. Yes, you can grow soil on rock. And we'll talk about that in the future. In fact, this rock was all covered until we decided to start growing soil on it. And it's not that hard to do, believe it or not. But the real moral that I'm trying to get here is that, folks, I can use, the problem can be a solution for other things. And that's going to bring me into another point. That point is bone sauce, you dig? Now, some people have heard me talk about it before. And, oh, shoot. Yeah. Almost lost it here. That would have been a blooper reel. People have heard me talk about it before, and the weather conditions have been such that it's been so long without rain that I was a little bit concerned about burning. Now, how can I get rid of this stuff and at the same time build something that, in my opinion, is probably the best deer, and some would even say, Michelle says rabbit repellent, she would know better than me, that's ever been made on this planet, I think. Well, that's where I can use the problem as a solution. You know, we had a deer problem out here, and then we'd make this bone sauce. And believe me, folks, that is a process. To make it exactly the way, and here comes William's little friend just making her little entrance here. Now, you can go ahead, if the camera's shaking, he's back here laughing, thinking this is the cutest thing ever. Well, anyway, to make this stuff, to learn how to make it right, I can't even tell you how long it took. It took a long time just to figure out how to get it right. We tried everything from the clay pots, you name it. We did videos about it. There was a time where I had to redo the video because I was so aggravated all the times I did it and failed, I'd heard about this stuff and said, okay, let me just try my own recipe here. Let me try my own thing. After I'd gotten to the point, and the problem is I don't know how to give up on certain things, is that I gotten to the point where I just threw my hands in the air, asked the good Lord for guidance, and then I found some. So we have our own little, I wouldn't call it proprietary technique, but it is a technique. We even did a video on it, which I'm not so sure we're gonna leave up for a whole variety of reasons, but we'll talk about that maybe another time. But so here we are, we're taking this stuff and all this other thicket around here that's really nasty and thorny. Well, I got a burn pile right here, you dig? And these coals right now, I'm taking out of here and I'm putting it on top of these things I got buried in the ground that's full of bone sauce. And that's what I'm doing. I'm letting this stuff, I'm getting rid of it. I'm burning it on top of a rock so I'm not taking whatever clay I got in this soil and turning it into terracotta. Doggone it, I gotta back off of this. Yeah, that thing's quite hot. So we're burning it on this rock, so we're not really damaging soil, okay? And at the same time, I'm getting rid of some stuff that I need these to work with. I mean, this is just real filthy, nasty stuff. And then we have a bunch of other nasty, thorny things that were in piles. So here we go. I mean, so for those out there that say, oh, you should never burn, well, go walk a mile in my shoes and you deal with this terrain and deal with all the other challenges that it has in it. And maybe you might be singing a different tune when it's all said and done. Now think about some of the other stuff we can do with the burning. And we've done videos on it before. I mean, we've made, in fact, our pigs, the only minerals they get is the biochar that we get out of the burn piles that we do. We make biochar, or charcoal if some people want to call it that. But it bioaccumulates all those minerals. So bam, it's a benefit to our pig. We even use it with the chickens to some extent. It's also this bone sauce we make out of it, which, by the way, we have people that have reached out to us before on Instagram, and we're going to be sending you folks out some samples to give this stuff. I need to thoroughly test it. But I'm not going to be giving up this recipe for a couple of reasons. Is that there's a recipe in how it's told to be done, and then there's a way we do it here, and there's a few other additives that we put to it that, honestly, frankly, it works too well. I had Michelle go so overboard, she put it on all the T-posts around this property. We used to have deer going right up this ridge over here. We used to have turkey. We don't even got neither one. They come around this place. They don't even go through here anymore. Well, that's a double-edged sword. I mean, I don't want them messing with my trees down there, and they haven't. But at the same time, I'm trying to put some of them guys in the freezer. So I go 500 feet to the top of this, or more, to the top of this mountain from where I'm currently standing if I want to do any of that. So you got to be careful to a certain extent. So all the way around this place, that's where we got the bone sauce. But we got a pretty concentrated dose of it around there too. But folks, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be, fire doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing if it's used wisely. Think about, if you got to burn, think of some other things you can do with it. Making charcoal, making biochar, making whatever it is you need to do. Maybe you want to cook something on it. Maybe there's a pig you want to do there, maybe do a pig in the ground, whatever the case may be. When you got to burn, try to think some other ways in which you can get more than one use out of a fire, or multi-uses out of that fire. Then that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to take this bone sauce out for now. We got some people that want to test it for us. We already got some people testing it for us right now. And so far, the preliminary results are astonishing, really. So we want to see if that can be replicated before I go selling this stuff. So keep your eyes out, and just keep in mind that this stuff, look, if you got to burn, make the most of it. Try to put a bunch of tasks into it at the same time. But look, folks, I mean, just keep in mind also that in the past, I've never treated there hasn't been too much I've ever treated as proprietary. And in the past, I have come up with some techniques that frankly were hijacked by, let's say, some other highly successful channels, and they passed them off as their own. That's why I got to do this stuff, folks. There's a lot of wonderful people in this community, but there's a lot of snakes out there too. In fact, there's a couple of cheeseback rattlers out there that have already taken some of my ideas concerning fencing. So I'm not going to give you another opportunity. You come up with your own ideas. So with that said, hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. You want to know why? Because I'm turning that problem into that solution. We'll see y'all next time.